If you remember from back in the day, we talked about slope, and what we've done with slope so far is we've done it the old archaic way, which is, remember you made a triangle and then counted how far up, how far over. Slope, in math we used what letter to represent slope? The letter M.
I thought it was S.
Y equals mx plus b. In slope-intercept form, the letter m was always the slope. S generally in math refers to side, I think, or whatever. Although mc squared, it's a different m or whatever. Anyways, we will be looking at the letter m. And remember what slope is. Slope is the rise of something over what we call its run. We also said slope is how far up something goes over how far over it is. So when you had a line like this, okay, you would just make a triangle. You could go with the two lines you know. Shoot straight across there, straight down there. Look at this triangle that you made. It needs to be a perfectly right triangle. And you would count how high it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Over how wide it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The slope, the letter M, equals 7/8 slope. And it's positive, why? Because it goes uphill. This one over here goes downhill. It's going to be negative slope. Again, take 2 points that you know. It has to be points that actually fall on the graph. You can't pick this point because, yes, it goes through one of the up and down lines, but it doesn't go through in the cross line. You can just make this your little triangle because you know there's 2 points there. How high is that triangle? 1 unit high over how wide is it? 2. Very good with that, because this is not what we're doing, but I want to make sure you understand that. This triangle here, I mean, we've done this before. 7th graders do this, so. You go across, you make your right triangle, okay. How high is this triangle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units high. Over how wide is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 fourths, which reduces, cut them both in half. 3 halves, downhill, so a negative 3 halves. Very good with that, because we're moving on here. Today, you are going to do slope by using the, write this down in big letters, the slope formula. Oh, I hate the slope formula. I've never seen it, but I hate it anyway. Okay, and it's a pretty simple little formula. It just looks like this. Slope, the letter M, equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Write that down. Put that in your memory banks, and I'll discuss it. It's not a difficult sort of thing here. Got that? Just remember that the y's go on top. The y's go on top. You are subtracting the 2 y values. The x's go on the bottom. And here is what the problem would look like. You know, I'm going to just make my own. Find the slope of a line that passes through the point, let's go 3, 6, and 9, 2. When you use the slope formula, you don't have to draw the line. I could draw this line. I will just give you a short what it kind of looks like. 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2. The line would look like this, but you don't need to draw that line because we have the slope formula. Okay? Now you know when you're given 2 points, those points represent, the first point is the x value, and the second point is the y value. okay? Your first job when you use this formula is you need to pick which point you want to be the sub 2's and which points you want to be sub 1's. And it doesn't matter which you pick to be which, but you must be consistent with it. In other words, this. And just because this one comes first, I pick this to be x1, y1. And I pick this to be x2, y2. I can call this first one x2, y2, and the second one x1, y1. It isn't going to matter, but you can't do this. You can't mix the 2 points together and say this is x1 and that's y2. Each point has to either be the 1's or the 2's. You can't flip-flop and say, okay, I'm going to make this x1 and that y2 or x2 and y1. It doesn't matter, but they need to be consistent with the point. Okay. And subscripts have nothing to do with value. Okay, this isn't like x squared. It's just a different way to label different things. Because these are both x points. You're separating, saying this is x of 1, that's x of 2. And then you just plug it into the formula. And please, please, please do yourself a favor. I know you like to get through it quickly, and I know you think you can do this, but do this for me, because you'll get many fewer problems wrong if you do this. Parenthesis minus parenthesis over parenthesis minus parenthesis. I can just tell you now, you're going to save yourself a lot of missed negative signs, because when you don't do that, you don't save as much. Okay? y2, here's my y2, is a 2. Okay? X, it doesn't matter how you do it. Minus y1, y1 is a 6. x2 is a 9. x1 is a 3. And then you just put those numbers together. What is 2 minus 6? Negative 4. What is 9 minus 3? 6. There's my slope. It just needs to be reduced. 4, 6 reduces down. It's a negative 2/3 slope. And that's all it is. If you would count these up and do this, okay, and that's what you're doing when you count these spaces. You're just finding the difference between this point and this point on the y-axis, and you're just finding the difference between those 2 points on the x-axis. This is how far up it goes, this is how far over it goes. It's okay. You're ready for one, huh? How about this? Let's do 6 comma negative 5 and negative 3 comma 4. What is the slope? I'll do one more just because. Make sure you commit that formula to memory, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Just for grins, I'll make, do I want to make the other one the 1's? It doesn't matter. x1, y1, x2, y2. Parenthesis minus parenthesis over parenthesis minus parenthesis. y2 is 4. y1 is negative 5. Oh, look at that's where somebody's going. x2 is negative 3. x1 is 6. Matter some simple subtraction here. Lutz, what is 4 minus a negative 5? What is 4 minus a negative 5? 2 negatives put together make that.
Oh, positive.
4 plus 5 is
9.
9. Minus subtracting a negative is like adding, so it's 4 plus 5. Negative 3 minus 6 is, Christine? Negative 3 minus 6, or negative 3 plus negative 6, what? Negative 9 is correct. So my slope is going to be negative 1. And that is where, if you're going to make a mistake, it's going to fall in that area. That's why you need to do it slowly. Make sure you look at it. I'll take one right out of the book. See if we all get the right answer here. How about 6 comma negative 3? I'll let you do it. And 13 comma 19. Fire away. Show me we got this. Prove to me that you're worth all the accolades. Is Randy Moss his own team? Is that what we have? Is there a team called Moss? Back in the day? Take your time and get the positives and the negatives correct. A lot of people think they can do this in their head. Some people can kind of do it in their head, but I can tell you, you'll make silly mistakes if you try. Been there, done that. Moses.
I will not let your memory.
I don't remember. Is he a master builder or a master butcher? We got an answer? S squared?
I got 22 over
Ooh, Tammy says 22 over 9. We got something else? Yeah. Jake?
I got positive 3 over 1.
Positive 3 over 1. Did I get that? Christine?
I got 22 over 7.
Yeah.
Alright, let's look and see. I assume you made x1, y1, x2, y2. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. By the way, it wouldn't matter if you flipped this formula either and said y1 minus y2, x1 minus y2, but you can't do you could not do y2 minus y1 over x1 minus, you have to be consistent in that way. So here we go, parenthesis minus parenthesis over parenthesis minus parenthesis. Y2 I said was 19, y1 is negative 3, x2 I said was 13 minus x1, which is 6. 19 minus a negative 3 is actually 19 plus 3, which is 22. 13 minus 6 is simply a 7. You put 13 minus 6 is 9.
Yes.
Here, I will show you again that it doesn't matter. I'll make this x2, y2, and this x1, y1, and do the same exact thing. Parenthesis minus parenthesis over parenthesis minus parenthesis. I said this time that this was y2, so it ends up being a negative 3 minus, minus 19 over, I said this was x2, which is 30. No. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this was x2. I was looking at the wrong one. Minus x1 right there. What is a negative 3 and a negative 19? Negative 22. 6 minus 13 is a negative 7. Negative over negative ends up making it a positive. So it ends up still being 22 over 7. 22 7. Doesn't get much more exciting.